We all have that pit of despair that sits at the base of the stomach. And from it comes an emotional experience that colors our world. It's not necessarily put into words because it was created before a time that we were able to speak or understand language. Very young. It sits there and it influences and colors everything. When we look out to a universe outside of us, we don't see truth. We see ourselves. We see this pain, this damage, this sense of damage. In all our conversations, our traits as people, personality traits, the way we speak, the things we say, the things we do, our emotions, thoughts, the relationships, the problems that we have, the suffering, the jobs that we chase, the hobbies, money, power, sex, relationships, drugs, items, status. Most of this is just a reflection of our avoidance of this, or an expression of its existence. Usually most of us don't even know it's there. Most people require a fair amount of validation in order to confirm that they're okay, that people still like them, they're not damaged. This is the normal way of being, that we consistently are socially expected to validate each other in however many subtle ways. We see this play out everywhere. Most of us try to become rich, successful, have the perfect relationship, become really good at something, have some skill to be respected, some position, title, status. Some of us try to express it through art, music, film, poetry, whatever. Some of us try to avoid it through spirituality, claiming that we know better. But these are all subtle forms of avoidance, repression, fear. This experience started when we were young, 1, 2 years old. We think everything is our fault. We lose a lot of things when we're that age. We're born completely connected to the source. Then bit by bit, we're pulled away from it. This causes suffering, grief. The loss of freedom causes grief. The loss of attachment causes grief. This grief, this crying is a way of releasing it so we're able to continue healthily. There is a lot of it when we're babies to release. We go from infinite beings to ego in a few years. A lot of it is not released. A lot of this damage caused, however it's caused, at that age, is not released. We then grow with this pit of despair in the stomach. And unless we figure out ways to release it, it will always be there. There are ways to manage it. There are ways to medicate it, avoid it. But to release it, then we can become our true divine selves. We can experience love and peace, purpose. So the most practical way to handle this is to find proof in the world that you are not damaged. This is how a lot of people practically do handle it. This can be done very straightforwardly. It is simple, but it's not easy. By taking action opposite to that which you assume. You assume you're damaged and people don't like you, so we need to act the opposite. This involves holding eye contact with people and smiling in the street, talking to people wherever you are, introducing yourself, asking people how their day is, asking people for their name, going out and confirming with the world that there is nothing wrong with you, you are a normal functioning person, and that people like you. Do this enough and it is confirmed. But you will unfortunately still have that pit of despair. You've just gained a skill. You know it's not real, you're able to look beyond it, and you know that there's nothing wrong, that this pit of despair is just there. We continue functioning with it, and we die with it. The other way is to fix it, is to grieve. But it's very difficult because, like I said, it was created at a time that we didn't have words. There's no words in there. It's just grief. Sometimes you can experience pictures and sentences and words coming from it. These are collected over time and stored in this area. Layers of grief and trauma and everything. But the original pit, I believe, was created before a time when we knew. It's just pain. This purely emotional experience creates words and thoughts and behaviors. There are many words that go with it. I am damaged. There's something wrong with me. Nobody likes me. Various spins on that. Find the words and sentences and pictures that trigger yours. Sometimes words like I'm sorry. Try to become very vulnerable. Say things like, I'm sorry, mummy, daddy. I wish I was a better boy, girl. Very childish things sometimes can trigger it. Once you find it and find these things, then awareness will help. We need to keep awareness in this area for as long as possible. All day, every day, be this area. Feel the emanating energy of pain that colors your world. This may take months. Eventually, you will start to grieve. You will have to cry and cry very, very vulnerable feelings. You will feel like a child because in a way you are still that child inside and it needs to come out through the full experience of the grief. When you start to grieve, then use your imagination to keep it going. Imagine you are two people, this crying little child and this infinite loving entity that comes to the child, providing it with endless love and support and guidance and patience. Everything you ever wanted as a kid. You have to provide that to yourself. There's no other way. No one else will do it. No therapist, no drug, no book, no self-help. To really heal this, it needs to be done internally with you and you alone. Imagine a loving angel comes from the heavens and just hugs you. provide you with all the love and safety that you need in order to feel safe enough to grieve. For whatever reason, we weren't able to feel safe enough to grieve this out, and that was the issue. We now have to provide that to ourselves. Once you get it going, and once you figure this out, once you learn how to keep it going, a lot of things will happen and it will be very intense. After you've finished some of these sessions, you will notice a deepening of peace, an initial exhaustion, and then a deepening of peace. Sometimes things get worse before they get better. Your awareness gets greater. You believe things are worse, but they are not. You're just aware of more inside you. It's the same process again and again. Find the area, be with it for as long as it takes. When it starts to break, use your imagination to provide yourself with love. Thanks, guys.